Hey there, Internet! How's it going? Did you miss me? Or miss us, even though it's only me? Anyway, in case you're not familiar, this is the Roundtable episode. Yeah, it's that number. It's in the title. Or just down here now, I think. Well, whatever. It's the Roundtable, little blog, vlog, podcast thing that me and normally my good friend Mr. Bullet Marks, or Tito Mega, or Sexiest Black Man on the Internet, he has a lot of AKAs. He gets around. But anyway, that we normally do every week. We missed last week due to him being busy and me just kind of forgetting. And then we missed filming this yesterday because we're trying to work on something new to bring you guys. It's a completely original idea. I don't want to spoil anything because it's still in the works. And we were trying to get the tech and everything working for it. Excuse me. And it just wouldn't work. And after like 2 hours of trying to get the tech to work, all we really accomplished was watching the Superman vs. Goku death battle, which is awesome, by the way. If you haven't seen it, go check that out. But it didn't really accomplish anything. The plan was to work on the new tech, possibly start the new thing, and then film this week's episode, which I'm doing right now. Point is, if you're really mad that we missed an episode or that this is a little bit late, I do apologize for what it's worth. But anyway, enough bliggity bloogity blah. Let's go ahead and get right into it. A handful of things. Start with some video game stuff. Last week or week before, I don't know, I lose track because I didn't really get into it. But the new Devil May Cry came out. Apparently got well received. The biggest thing you really see people griping about is the fact that Dante looks different. I mean, if you're that hung up on it, that's your thing. But apparently it's the gameplay and everything's just as good as the old ones. It's not my type of game, so I didn't get into it. There's nothing retail this week. However, we're supposed to get excuse me, supposed to get on the Xbox Live Arcade, possibly PSN, don't know, don't care. Wow, it just escaped my mind. Anyway, it's called The Cave, and I think some other game. And speaking of arcade, we missed a week of a game, which is kind of odd for the arcade. I can only assume, and we talked about it in the past weeks, like there was supposed to be a wrestling game coming out, but with the whole THQ folding thing, I guess maybe it just kind of fizzled out. But it is kind of odd. You know, it's like, even if it's crap or a crap for the Kinect, you know, Live has been pretty good of giving you something every week for a while now. Excuse me. So it's kind of odd when you don't see anything. But anyway, this week it's called The Cave. And I think there's something else coming out, but no one will care. The Cave is a platforming puzzler made from the geniuses. Now I'm trying to think about it. Another brain fart. I want to say Ron Gilbert. If I'm wrong, please don't nerd hate me. It's the guy behind the Monkey Island series, which if you've never played that, you're really missing out. Even if you're not in the point and click, it's worth it just for the humor and the story and everything. And of course, Tim Schafer. Again, if you don't know who that is, you shouldn't play video games. The biggest name is Psychonauts, amongst many others that he's done. And they've worked together on this one. And it's a platforming puzzler. It has like certain sets of characters, there's certain sets of abilities, and you're going through this cave, and apparently this cave is kind of like the tree from Jedi. You know, everybody that goes into it sort of sees something different from what they need to get out of it, and learn a life lesson or something. Anyway, it's probably going to be awesome just because of the people that work on it. I'm looking forward to it. I believe it'll be probably $15, Microsoft points. Dang. But yeah. Like I said, no retail release. I almost forgot. The new set of Spartan Ops came out today. The first one, and then they'll follow up. It's 6 through 10. What kind of surprised me, now it's maybe old news, but if you've been following this, you know that originally I wasn't really even all that on board for Halo 4, but I ended up just kind of getting into it. It's not that bad. But I was kind of surprised. I figured the new episodes would just it'd be kind of like an update, or they would just be there, something like that nature. But you actually had to Marketplace download them, which makes me think that eventually they're going to be pay to play, which is just kind of bogus to me. Because it is, I mean, it's an interesting little side story. It's a good little co-op. It's a real good way to farm XP. But I don't know. I mean, like I said, it might be old news that you may have to possibly pay for Spartan Ops. Like I said, I don't know the backstory and all those minute details of Halo 4. But that kind of struck me as kind of odd and possibly disturbing. I've played all but one episode, and they're pretty good for what they are. It continues the story and all that. Also on Halo 4, they have a new playlist. It's I think it's either 3 or 4, and it's, I don't know, I guess maybe they had a contest or something. Again, not into the minute details of it, so this might be old news. But basically, it's user-created Forge maps, and it's a playlist that features like 3 or 4 of them that you can actually play on, that I guess whichever one gets the most plays or whatever, or positive feedback will eventually be worked into the 4 versus 4 team deathmatch, which is pretty cool, especially if you made it. That's pretty awesome. Also, speaking of humble beginnings and making something that gets kind of big, I do it all the time, and I'll never stop because he's a huge inspiration to me. Mr. Boogie2988, if you don't know who that is, get off of YouTube. You know, whether you like him or don't like him, that's your personal opinion, but nothing else, you gotta respect the guy for being, you know, an overweight, kind of housebound guy. Again, Boogie, if you see this, no offense, but, you know, a guy that, you know, that's pretty much housebound due to his weight and physical condition, and he started making joke videos about being mad at Warcraft, and now he's in the top, I believe now, almost top 10 subscribed people on YouTube, and you know, he just does his thing. He doesn't go, you know, it's just kind of like me doing this, and it's a huge inspiration. Anyway, Mr. Boogie2988, he just revealed that recently he flew out to LA to film a commercial, like a super duper, honest to goodness professional commercial. And of course he went through the trials and tribulations of that. I won't bore you with that. And then he did a live chat today, which I just missed getting in on, but anyway, he revealed, you know, of course it's like he can't really say what it is sort of thing for all the legalities and whatever, but he revealed that everything's looking good and it could possibly be an advert that airs during the Super Bowl. And that to me is just phenomenal, that you take an average guy like me or you, if you're, you know, just start making YouTube videos as kind of a way to escape reality or, you know, whatever. And he might be in a commercial that aired. I mean, even if he's only in it for 5 seconds, that's still just, you know, how many of us can say we did that? So that's awesome. I thought I'd share that. Big shout out to that. He's a huge inspiration. He's pretty much the reason I started doing this. Him and Pia. So big shout outs. If you don't know who they are anyway, and you're on YouTube, you're missing out. Let's see. So cover video game stuff. There's a handful of cool toy stuff I've been finding, which makes me really mad that I need a better job so I can afford them. But personal problems aside, over on, well, these are kind of all over the place, but I found them, and the prices relate to BigBadToyStore.com. There's this company, Funko, they've been making for a while now. They're called Pop Vinyl. And they just pick, you know, like movie characters, cartoon characters, just random whatever, pop culture things, and make these cool little vinyl figures of them. You know, kind of have like a blocky head, kind of almost chibi style look to them. Anyway, there's a bunch of them that have been out that you can get, you know, here and there. They usually only run about $10 on any website before shipping and handling, so it's not a bad price on them at all. And then, anyway, recently, I might get into them, because they do look really cool. They're fairly inexpensive, and I could just see a whole bunch of them sitting around and looking cool. But anyway, what caught my attention is they just announced they're going to do a little set for He-Man. And you get He-Man, Skeletor, I think She-Ra, Hordak, some random villain. I want to say Spike Man, or maybe it was Merman. Anyway, they just look really stupid, cute, funny. You know, like I said, they're only $10, so it'd be kind of a cool little collectible. something that's not as inexpensive, though, as, of course, is, again, it's on many sites for pre-order, but this pricing comes from BigBadToyStore.com. They're doing a full-size Half-Life gravity gun replica, which, if you don't know, is is one. Actually, I think it's the second weapon you get in Episode 2, because you get the crowbar first. Anyway, and you use it to, pick up things, shoot them, and whatever, do cool physics-based things in Half-Life 2. It's a full-size replica. It stands to be pretty big. I think it's about like 13 inches long, and blah blah. It lights up. I don't know if it has any sounds. I don't remember reading on that. It's made by NECA, who did all the portal guns. But the interesting thing about this, when the first portal gun hit, it sold for around $300, I think, from any site that you could actually get it from. And then the subsequent ones, I think there was one of the co-op ones that was only available at a convention. I believe it was still $300. Then they made the other, like, let's say Peabody's was a convention and Atlas was the one that was retail released. Could be backwards on that. I'm just so you can separate them. And then the other was a retail release. I believe it was almost $300. And then recently, I've talked about it on here for a couple weeks now. You can get the customizable one for like $200, which is pretty awesome because it's the same size as the original $300 ones. But you can pick and choose the colors with little magnetic strips you snap on it. Has all the lights, has all the colors, has all the sounds that all the other ones featured for, $100 less. Well, actually, a lot less, because if you go try to find that original portal gun, it's out the roof. You're going to pay for it because it was really limited release. But anyway, and so they're doing the gravity gun, and they were actually smart enough with the gravity gun. That was kind of a thing that I thought was odd with the portal guns, is you spent, like $300-some on this replica, which is really cool. I'm not necessarily saying it wasn't worth it. It's pushing it, but, but then they release a stand that's like almost $100 just for the stand to hold it. And I'm like, really? So anyway, the gravity gun apparently actually comes with a foldable kind of like kickstand for it that's built into it. So props on not trying to rip people off, sort of thing. Also over on Big Bad, I have a couple reviews here on my channel of the two that I have, Godzilla and Mechagodzilla, and I really want to get more. I'm going to try to get more. But the SH Monster Arts line has just announced that they're going to have a basically the Peter Jackson version of King Kong in their line. It looks really awesome. I know it comes with a couple different faces and stuff like that. Will I necessarily get it? Maybe, because I would like to do like a cool little Godzilla beating him up sort of thing. Its price is $60, which isn't bad. And then something else they've had for a while. It's Godzilla Jr. And it's the way he looks from the 2000 series of Godzilla, where he's, I don't know how to explain it. He's very raptor-ish, lizardy looking. I mean, I know Godzilla looks like a lizard. It's kind of hard to explain. If you're a Godzilla fan, you know what I'm talking about. It was featured in a movie. Who was the main big bad monster he was fighting? It escapes me at the moment, but long story short, there's Godzilla Jr. Might even have been in the Destroya movie. Actually, now that I think about it. Anyway, it's like, if you're trying to picture it, it was in his thing was Godzilla Jr. and there was like this telepathic chick that could like control it, and they would lead it to fight whatever the big bad was. I think it was Destroyer. Could be wrong, but anyway. Godzilla Jr. They have a figure of him coming for $50, so that's kind of cool. Let's see, other random tidbits. Recently, they announced that the new Splinter Cell got pushed back to August, and IGN had a kind of a video and article on it. They seem to think that this is an indication of when the next-gen consoles are coming, because it is the latest in this year confirmed, I mean, of course, if you go to your GameStop, it'll have stuff for later in the year, but confirmed release date of August something or other. And I guess if you were going to do a new console, that would make sense. That'd be sort of the time frame you'd shoot with, because you're getting the holiday season and all that. And of course, recently on Major Nelson for Xbox, he put down a countdown timer to E3 this year, saying what's next. Is it coming this year? You know, there's been a lot of hype. Apparently, somebody got fired from some company recently and had a lot of info that caused a lot of legal troubles for the people to try to get it back. I stick with my thing. It is what it is. When I see an announcement or see something, then it's like, okay, there's the next gen. That's what it'll do. And as far as I'm concerned, everything else is rumors. I will say, I was trying to save up to get a newer Slim 360, but I'll probably just hold off on that, because if a new one's coming out, I'll just keep saving towards that. But that's just me. So yeah, I guess that'll about do it. This should be uploaded by Tuesday of this week, I think. But anyway, like I said, me and Mr. Bullmarks have something coming soon. I'll do a promo vid for it. He probably will too. We're actually going to put it on his channel of Mine Films, but more details coming very soon on that. Like I said, we had some technical issues, like programs not cooperating like they should, and all that. But completely original idea. We're pretty proud we thought of it, but we'll get into that later on. I got some reviews coming up. I think the next one coming up for me probably will be Transformers Prime Bulkhead. It'll either be him or Knockout. I'm not sure. I'll just pick one and upload it. But other than that, hopefully this has been informative. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. Like, comment, subscribe as you feel necessary. It is all appreciated. And until next time, keep it easy.